What if I were to suggest that you play a key role in the awakening world?
The sound is wrong. You didn't press your sound thing. Start it again, brother.
Sorry about that, everybody.
Because you have heard the tune. We can start right now by opening our hearts and minds.
Well, that's what happens when you step out. And I'm going to start all over again here. So I'm going to stop the recording. And we're going to start all over again. I had stepped out and I forgot to click the sound thingy again. So thank you for your patience, everyone. And let's try this a second time. And for all of you watching on Facebook and YouTube, you get to get a double dose of Kristin Hoffmann's first minute of our opening trailer.
What if I were to suggest that you play a key role in the awakening world? And that you are watching this because you have heard the call. We can start right now by opening our hearts and minds. Welcome to the awakening world.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Love Coach Scott Katamas. Welcome to the Awakening World. It is Martin Luther King weekend, and every year we bring together some of the people that I have tremendous respect for as wise beings to share their thoughts about the spirit of Martin Luther King and what nonviolence really means to them. And we've got an extraordinary group of people with us tonight. We have one of my favorite people on the planet and my co-host for the evening, the wonderful Reverend Deborah Moldow, who is the executive director of the Evolutionary Leaders Circle, and our beloved Dr. Marty K, and Reverend Dr. Mama Ivy Shadia, and Kristin Hoffmann, and Peter Young, and Tatiana Speed, and of course, our beloved Omashar, and most of all of you in the Zoom room. And we may even have a special guest appearance from Hallelujah Anasuya. So it's going to be a beautiful evening, a lot of wonderful music, some great videos. And I'm going to start off by turning it right over to she who is affectionately known as Rev Deb, my co-host, to share with us a little bit about the theme for the night and about the evolutionary leaders.
Oh, thank you, Scott. It's so good to be here with the Global Peace Tribe, and especially to all of you who show up from week to week to celebrate with us, to hear all these inspiring speakers and musicians, and to participate in the chat. And I really want to encourage everybody who's watching on Facebook to join the Global Peace Tribe and be in the Zoom room with us, because it's too much fun not to be here. I mean, you can't miss it, right? So I'm really excited tonight because all of our guests, everybody that Scott just introduced, are all members of the Evolutionary Leaders Circle. And I'm delighted to have everybody here to highlight the theme of nonviolence. Now is the time. And so I want to tell you, I think most of you are familiar with the Evolutionary Leaders Circle. It's a community of visionaries. And as the director, I just adore every single one of them. So not much more I can say about that. Anyone who's not familiar can go to evolutionaryleaders.net. But what I want to tell you about is the Evolutionary Partners Network. So this is a relatively new initiative of the Evolutionary Leaders community. And what we try to do in the Partners Network is see how organizations can work together, organizations that are in alignment, that share a worldview, but may have very different agendas and activities. And one of the things we've been doing to try to come into greater alignment is to have monthly highlights. So we started with peace in September and global oneness in October. And so we chose for January nonviolence because there were so many events that were already happening among our partner organizations to honor Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. around the time of his birthday and the national holiday in the United States. So that is tonight's theme. Scott is wonderful about always jumping onto whatever's coming up and saying, oh, let's do a show about that. So we've invited all these wonderful evolutionary leaders, including all of you in the audience, to come together around this theme tonight. So I just can't wait for you to hear some of these people and what they have to offer. It's going to be a wonderful show. And now Omashar is a member of our Evolutionary Leaders Circle. And I believe, as usual, we're going to start with some nonviolent music from Omashar, which always sets the tone and lifts us up.
We are going to do that, but you know what? Let me, for the people watching on Facebook and YouTube, I want to just take them to a couple of pages. You can find on Facebook the Evolutionary Partners Network, and so that's where, and Rev Deb has been posting along with others all about what's going on. And of course, on Wednesday night, we talked a lot about the MLK Ali 40 Days of Peace and Greatness with John and Summer and Patu and Antoinette. So just a reminder that there's a lot going on, and you can learn more on Facebook by just put into the Facebook search bar Evolutionary Partners Network, and it'll come right up for you. And then to learn more about the evolutionary leaders, just go to evolutionaryleaders.net. Evolutionaryleaders.net. Click who we are, learn all about us.
And if you put /partners, then you'll see all of the organizations. I think we're up to 65 organizations now that are part of that. And right now they're all led or founded by evolutionary leaders, but we're hoping that we will be able to open it up soon. Scroll on down, Scott, so they can see all of these different.
All these wonderful things, you know. A Better World. And these are all of our friends at Academy for Future Science, of course, is JJ and Desiree Hertok. Dr. Julie Krull, she co-hosted last week or 2 weeks ago.
There's Dwayne Elgin's Choosing Earth.
Beautiful. Look at all these wonderful organizations. And it is beautiful how we're all coming together. Chief Phil Lane, that's For Worlds Institute. Hey, I see the Global Peace Tribe there. And of course, Global Coherence Pulse, we worked with them last week. So, you know, this is a wonderful, really.
There's the Holo Movement.
bringing together all these people. There's Peter's organization. We're to learn more about Hubcast.
Podcast, there's Humanities Team.
Steve
Yeah.
Friedel. Yep. Amazing. And it goes on. Islands of Coherence. A lot of us have been joining that lately. Light on Light. Of course, that's Kurt Johnson and company. And it just goes on and on with all these wonderful, wonderful organizations. So Purpose Earth. Amazing. So again, go to evolutionaryleaders.net/partners. And it's a great way to learn about some of the amazing other organizations that we honor and support. And with that, now we can turn it over to Mr. Omashar.
In the air is a dream so old. It is born of our longing for a kingdom pure as gold, a kingdom pure as gold, and told by the ancients is the story true of a new world that's birthing in the hearts of me and you, the heart of me and you. Echoes of Eden and the Holy Grail, sent from the heavens, a message through the veil, a message through the veil. And so come all ye who are cold and lost to a new way of being, and a kingdom pure as gold, a kingdom pure as gold. Ba-da-da-da,
the gallery view and giving lots of love. What a beautiful, perfect first song for tonight, Omashar.
Yeah, they just get cold.
Can't hear you.
Yes, it felt really relevant for tonight's show. It's such a gentle, peace-filled song of hope, and it's all where we're going. We're waking up. There's a dream in the air that's so old, and we're just catching it alight again. So thank you.
Thank you. And a reminder that we can get all things Omashar by going to omashar.bandcamp.com. That's the best place to buy his albums. He's got 5 beautiful CDs waiting for you to download and listen to. They're all quite wonderful. People ask me which one's my favorite. They're all very good, but if I had to choose, I'd say Illuminate.
Yeah, that would be my current favorite, but my next one's going to be my next current favorite. So
And we can't wait for that one.
I know, right?
Thank you. And of course, I'm sure we'll be back later on in the show. I am going to read just a couple of, several of you have started to write about the spirit of nonviolence and Martin Luther King. I'll try and get to all of them throughout the evening, but I'm going to read a few right off the bat. Karen S., who we love, she's been with us from the very beginning. She, of course, spoke on Wednesday night, writes, I always loved the civil rights movement. I loved that the civil rights movement was based on love for everyone, and everything was accomplished without any violence on the part of the participants, no matter how much hatred and violence was directed at them. Thank you. Connie, beloved Connie Baxter Marlowe, married to Andrew, writes, I have used MLK Jr.'s birthday for decades in Aspen to create events with Native American elders and others to speak on his dream of freedom and higher truths. And she's put in a playlist of those events. So for those of you in the Zoom room, take a look at that wonderful, wonderful offering. Thank you, Connie, for sharing that. And then DR writes, nonviolence is restorative justice practices. And then Reverend Jeffrey writes, as an all-faith minister, my vision is universal peace on earth. So thank you for some of those initial offerings. We look forward to hearing more. And I'm going to turn it back over to Rev Deb to make a very special introduction.
I also like what Susan Woolridge wrote, that she especially loves King's words. There is a higher law when people follow laws that are not in service of everyone. And it's so important. I mean, that is the key to nonviolence, isn't it? That it's for everyone, not just the people we agree with. So beautiful. Thank you all for your comments about nonviolence. I'm going to save all of them. So it's beautiful. Well, we have a very special video that is making its premiere this evening. And I know that all of you who are regulars on this program, you all know our multi-talented Tatiana Speed. She's been on this show many times with her beautiful voice and her inspiring videos and her uplifting words as well. She has so many gifts to offer as a singer-songwriter, as a somatic healer, as a mystic. And I just love the way she combines her skills in composing and performing her deeply healing music with producing workshops and videos and raising awareness for social and environmental causes and personal healing and transformation. So she's a very special person. She's one of our new evolutionary leaders and one of our youngest. So we welcome her. And tonight, she's going to share this beautiful new video that highlights the path to nonviolence that begins with peace within. Tatiana, welcome.
Thank you, Rev Deb. Thank you, Scott. And hello to this beautiful family, this beautiful soul family. I'm so delighted to be here with you all. And I wrote this video. This video was very much inspired by you, Rev Deb, by your invitation to kind of reflect on nonviolence and where I felt drawn. I want to read you a couple quotes as well. This one is by Thich Nhat Hanh, who's a Buddhist monk who I've followed for many years, and he says, "Nonviolence begins with the individual. It starts with each one of us. When we cultivate inner peace, we contribute to the peace of the world." And then I love this one by the Dalai Lama. "You can never bring about peace in the external world until you make peace with yourself." And so this video is really my prayer of peace, of first creating that peace within, which is, I feel like, a lifelong journey, how to cultivate inner peace and transform our inner environment, our inner world into one of coherence and love. And then how we extend that to our loved ones, to our community, to each other, how we make right relationships with each other. If we want to see peace on the earth, I feel like the kind of going joke is like, go spend a week with your family and see how that goes. And so I was reflecting on that as well. I want to see world peace. Can I go spend a week with, my family and meet my triggers and bring my love in full force and into those relationships that I find challenging? And then how do I then extend that to my human family, to my earth family, to my animal family, to all the beings on this beautiful planet? And yeah, and this film I made, or just really short video I made, has kind of a sacred, maybe Christian feel to it a little bit, but it's not religious in any way. But I am inspired deeply by some of the Christian mystics, and in particular, this one was inspired by Saint Francis of Assisi, who wrote that beautiful prayer, "Lord, make me an instrument of your peace." And so that also is one of the inspirations. So yeah, Scott, if you want to share it, I think
Okay, all
that's
right.
all I
Here we
have to
go.
say for now.
All right, fantastic. Thank you.
May I be an instrument of peace. Kindness and compassion is my religion. First, towards myself. So many times I have been cruel, even violent inside. I have treated myself unkindly in my thoughts, my words, my deeds. I would never speak this way to someone I love. So let me be an instrument of peace, first to myself. I pledge to make the relationship I have inside a garden of peace. May I be an instrument of peace towards my nearest and dearest, my family, my closest friends, my lover. Sometimes I judge the ones I love. I project my frustrations and fears onto them, when really, they are only mirroring what I hold inside. I pledge to work on my communication, to honestly and with kindness express what is in my heart, to lay down my ego again and again on the altar of love. I will always strive for the path of repair and connection, because this path always leads back to peace. May I be an instrument of peace for this earth, our beautiful planet, in a world that has forgotten gentleness, that sees bombs and violence as a solution, that is moving faster and faster, bombarding us with stimulation and distraction. I pledge to invite us to slow down, to take an even slower breath, and to emanate the kindness I want to see in the world, the recognition that we are all traumatized on some level, and trying to find our way back to wholeness. Kindness and compassion is my religion. Saints through the ages summon me home. Guide my steps, so I can be a candle in this darkness, shining and flickering and casting light. And remember that I am but an instrument. The true power is shining just behind, animating everything. And so my prayer is, and will always be, make me an instrument of peace.
I'm going to go to gallery view for everybody to twinkle you. And invite some of you to write in the chat box, what does being an instrument of peace mean specifically in your life? What does that look like? What do you do to be an instrument of peace? And Tatiana, the combination of your beautiful words and your voice and the beautiful photography, I'm lucky I'm on a big screen computer, and it's just, some of those shots are breathtaking. And once again, you've knocked it out of the park with a beautiful video.
Thank you, everyone. So beautiful to be here with you. And yeah, the credit to those shots goes to my partner, Mark, who's just such an exquisite artist with his camera. And a lot of those shots were taken as we were traveling across Canada on the road less traveled. And it was beautiful to bring them kind of together in this video.
I am going to read just a few of the comments and then go back to you, Rev Deb. Carol Craig writes, oh my God, Tatiana, this is so profound. Being an instrument of peace is so important. That was fantastic. Ayada writes, Tatiana, that was so incredibly inspiring. Wow, between you and Omashar tonight, I'm receiving the tender medicine that I really need. Our beloved Kristin.
And don't we all?
Yeah.
This
Kristin,
is a time, it's a time for that. It's a time for this tender medicine. Yes, Kristin said it goes right to the heart and soul. And this program tonight is building on exactly that. So thank you so much, Tatiana, for that exquisite offering. We love you.
oh, you know, real quick, a reminder that you can find all things Tatiana at her website, and it's very easy to remember because it's her name. So TatianaSpeed.com, TatianaSpeed.com, and there's a new album that we all love, Lullabies for Adults, which we've been talking about for a while. It's a beautiful, beautiful album coming. The first single is now out, and I can't wait for this album to go to sleep to at night. Anyway, Tatiana, thank you so much for your many, many, many gifts to our great Global Peace Tribe and all the different organizations that are discovering you now. It's like, different people have, so it's wonderful to see you growing, doing workshops. You had your first retreat, which was very successful last week. So congratulations.
I love you, Scott. I love you all. Thank you.
All right, Rev Deb, what's next?
So now, as I said, we're going to build on this. We're going to create this evening a field of nonviolence and peace to nourish our hearts and our souls and our spirits. So we move now to another deeply special evolutionary leader, Dr. Ivy Shadia Hilton. And for those of you who are not familiar with Dr. Ivy, she's an international sound healer. She's a certified restorative justice trainer. She's a mindfulness licensed psychotherapist, a recording artist, a concert soprano vocalist. And she has created a breakthrough concept called sound vibronics, sonic stress reduction meditation system, and the sonic mind streaming emotional wellness listening app. So she is not just another sound healer, but she is incredible. And she's going to, you're welcome, beloved Shadia, to say a few words, whatever you like, on nonviolence or the themes for this evening. And then she's going to give us a chance to open our hearts to feel deeply into the spirit of nonviolence. So I give you, beautiful sound healer, Dr. Ivy Shadia Hilton.
Thank you. Thank you so much, beloved. And this is timely, talking about nonviolence, because I believe that this is an opportunity for us to be the leaders for making sure that nonviolence is a major concept that we're all focused on because of the anger and the frustration and the sadness and the grief. And I want to share a little bit. The statement that came to me about nonviolence is deeply rooted in the ability to achieve emotional compassion and activating love. And this came to me as a result of some research work that I was blessed to do as a Robert Wood Johnson Foundation Fellow, working with the University of Minnesota. And it is under this project called the Interdisciplinary Research Leaders. And during the pandemic, we weren't able to travel. So they did something really beautiful. The money that they would have given to us for traveling, they told us we could create a research project of our own in our own community. So mine was in Washington, D.C., and it was addressing young people in our community who were gun toters, who didn't think twice about taking someone's life, and some of them most certainly had done that. And so we had them on Zoom. And to make this very quick, it was amazing. It blew my mind. I heard things that I never heard before. But out of that project, their definitions of nonviolence were like feeling loved, having enough food to eat, being accepted and understood, not being afraid to going to school, living in a different place, not where I am now, never losing a member of my family, never losing a member of my family. And as a result of that, we discovered that our young people did not know how to grieve or to mourn properly. They had no idea of how to do that. And now we realize that those that are not able to or don't know how to mourn and grieve properly, because grief is an internal experience and mourning is an external experience. And so mourning with no bars to hold you back turns into aggression. So as a result of that, we learned that we need to find a way to teach our young people how to mourn and how to grieve. And then it's not only just young people, we're finding out even at the adult level. So the ability to love is so important. But what is even more important is what your understanding and belief of what nonviolence is. Because we're creating a pulse of consciousness around the world so that if we're focused on what our intention is for nonviolence, then we can absolutely create a frequency of nonviolence around the world through collective consciousness. So I'm going to invite you to sit back, find yourself as comfortable as you can, separate your hands and your feet, put your back in a good position that can rest for just a few moments, and then gently close your eyes. Allow yourself to imagine a beautiful emanating light from the highest source in the universe, the brightest, the highest, the most pure light, the most beautiful and peaceful place that you have ever seen appears. You know where this place is and can draw this light to you. You can feel yourself being drawn into the light. And the light stands for everything that is good. Everything that is good in life and beyond. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. You are feeling unconditional love, peace, serenity, tranquility, and pure relaxation. And just bask in this wonderful light that is infused with gold. It is your birthright to be in this place. And now, you may safely unite yourself with this vibration of light that flows all throughout the universe. And there you are, floating back and forth, back and forth. And allow this beautiful light to flow through every part of your being. Letting go, letting go, letting go. Going deeper and deeper into relaxation. Deeper and deeper into surrender. And as this light begins to flow through your forehead, feel that area simply relax. And allow the white light to continue to flow through your entire being. Letting go, letting go, letting go. And now I invite you to bring your awareness to the center of your forehead. And right there, just imagine an image of yourself smiling, happy, and totally content with yourself. Feeling safe, feeling secure, feeling joy and happiness. And as an observer, just observe your visions of what nonviolence looks like for you. See the details. See the textures. See the colors. See the colors. Allow the light to flow. You're flowing in a high vibration, filled with love, filled with light. And you are that light. You are that love. Breathe. Now I'm going to count to 5. And when I reach 5, you will normalize and come back into this space. When I reach 1, you will be ready, awake, and aware. 5, you'll remember everything that you have experienced. 4, very satisfied with the feelings and everything that has taken place in your mind's eye. 3, you are now more in touch with the room around you. 2, your mind and body are returning back to normal. And when you imagine the number 1 in your mind's eye, within the next few moments, just gently awaken, blinking your eyes 2 or 3 times before you open them completely, feeling refreshed with a vision of nonviolence, your energy, your frequency, your power, and feeling good. Breathe. Awake and aware. Give thanks. Ashe.
And
Welcome back.
I'm not back. I don't think anyone's back, because you just brought us to the most exquisite frequency. And I want everybody to sit in that frequency for the next few moments. Continue to breathe. That was such an extraordinary experience, beloved Shadia. And thank you also for the music behind you from another evolutionary leader, Gary Malkin.
Yes.
Just so beautiful. And you truly took us to a new place. And the comments are coming in.
Ooh, I'm feeling
in the
chills,
chat.
actually. Oh boy, I'm feeling chills.
Yes. It was, in fact, more of the medicine that we need right now to lift ourselves into that frequency of nonviolence.
Yes.
And thank you also for letting us know before that beautiful sound experience what nonviolence means to people who have experienced the opposite.
Yes.
So let's just breathe all of that in and keep those comments coming in the chat. And we will share some of those. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Ivy.
Thank you, my beloved sister.
To read some of the comments. Diara writes, transporting us to our galactic origins of peace and love. Fanny writes, great prayer, dear Priestess Mama Ivy. Gratitude, beams of light around the world. Ayada writes, feeling so incredibly blessed by all this gentle medicine tonight. Heartfelt gratitude to you, Dr. Ivy. Our own Dr. Marty K writes, I needed that clearing. Thank you, Dr. Ivy. Sylvia writes, thank you, Dr. Ivy. I am still singing with that Lotus Om bowl. Kristin writes, infinite gratitude, beloved Ivy, exquisite. Elena Joy writes, exquisite and deep. Tatiana writes, wow, Dr. Ivy, that was exquisite, powerful, profound. I am deeply touched. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And so it goes. There are,
and we're in gallery view. I just want to ask everybody who's still feeling that vibration of the frequency she brought us to, just raise your hand and share that out. Share that out. Oh, you can feel it, right? You can feel it in your hands. And we send it to our wounded world where it is so needed. Thank you, everyone, for being part of that. Thank you. Thank you. Scott, how can people find Dr. Ivy?
She has a really amazing website. It's drivysoundspa.com. drivysoundspa.com. And get out your phones, everybody. Get out your cell phone, because what I'm going to encourage you to do is to really experience her sound spa and to join her Elevate Weekly with Shadia, also known as Dr. Ivy. So get out your phones, like I'm doing right now, put it on a camera setting, and go right there. We got it. And click there, and that's going to take you also to her website. And Dr. Ivy, tell people a little bit about the Elevate Weekly Mind Reset Meditation Program.
Okay, well, thank you so much for this opportunity. Elevate is really designed to do just that, to take our minds, our heart, and our spirit and just elevate beyond what is known as the mundane world, is what we're living in right now. It's a midweek mind reset. And it comes right after I do this Elevate in the Sound Spa for Jan Van Zant's TV show. And right after that is over, I go right into the Elevate. And it's only an hour. And the really beautiful thing about it is I'm doing yoga nidra. And 15 minutes of yoga nidra is equivalent to 4 hours of deep sleep. And I've come to this conclusion because so many people are talking to me about anxiety and not being able to sleep well. And this is something that helps you prepare yourself at night. It's because for bed, it starts at 8 and it ends at 9.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you.
I just signed up for it. That's a beautiful midweek gift. And again, just read to people, what time of the day is it?
It's 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
So 5 o'clock here in California.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is it?
We're a little California centric out here. What can I say? And there's a little bit more. You can get her beautiful Om meditation. And we've shown Let There Be Light before on this show. It's a gorgeous video. So again, you'll find everything at drivysoundspa.com. Thank you, Dr. Ivy. We love you so much. All right, Rev Deb.
Wow.
How are you feeling?
Well, I'm still buzzing. I'm not the only one, right? We're all just aglow from that experience. And it was just a taste. Just a taste.
I do want to read a few more responses from the audience. And again, this is a good, we're at about the halfway point of the show, and we really want to feel what's going on for you. So we're getting the gratitude. But are there inspirations that are coming up for you? Again, what does nonviolence mean to you? You know, when Dr. Ivy talked about nonviolence is being able to have food, right? There's a different idea of nonviolence that really impacted me. I'm going to bring you back up while we talk about this. You know, I mean, that's like, oh yeah, wow.
And to be seen, to be heard. To not be invisible. And, people have been putting in the chat the cosmic coincidence that the MLK holiday is the presidential inauguration day in the United States. And when Mama Ivy asked us to envision nonviolence, what would that look like to us? I was seeing the political leaders of our world respecting one another, expressing love and admiration for one another, and countries that seem to be enemies saying, we're in this together, we're sharing this planet, and we honor you, and we want to work with you to make this world a better place for all of its citizens.
I would love to talk with Teresa about doing a coherence circle or coherence collective with that vision, Reverend Deborah, because that's what we need. Something really serious is happening in the world, and we have a few people who are trying to shape it. And here we are on the other end of it. So we know that light is faster than sound and thought is faster than light. And so if we create and infuse the ethers with our thoughts just like that, I really believe it will shift the consciousness of the world.
And we're doing it tonight.
And we're doing it tonight. And I feel it. I mean, it's actually making me emotional.
Yeah.
Thank you all so much for this.
Oh, I love what Dr. Laura just posted. She said, Ivy elevated me to nonviolence between myself and all of nature, the land, water, animals, birds, insects, cosmos, everything in peace and balance. It was fabulous. Thanks again, Ivy.
Ooh, that's very powerful. And my whole intention is cosmic love, cosmic love, cosmic love.
Cosmic love.
Cosmic love.
And who better than the Global Peace Tribe to send that love around the world?
That's right.
You know, you mentioned, Rev Deb, Monday's a big day, MLK and the inauguration. And I want to invite all of us at 8 o'clock in the morning Pacific time, 11 o'clock Eastern. Summer Joy is going to be doing a dance experience in Washington, D.C. And so I'll put the link into the chat box. I'm going to get up a little early that morning, and let's all, you can, if you want, if it's too early for us 8 a.m.ers, maybe just praying, if you want to get up a dance. But what a wonderful way to start the morning with Summer Joy on this day of honoring MLK and seeing the new administration, no matter what our political affiliation may be. Let's just maximum grace. And just a reminder that when a bullet goes whizzing that close past your ear, it can be a life-changing experience. So we don't know how our new president may be a little bit different. We don't know. But let's pray for him. Let's pray for the new administration. Let's pray for our country. Let's pray for our awakening world.
Amen.
And for those who are uncomfortable with the word nonviolence, we've chosen this theme for this month to honor the tradition of Mahatma Gandhi and Martin Luther King Jr. And nonviolence tells us what to do. And if we can take that recipe into our hearts, that is the first step to peace.
Yes.
So it's a historic word. And when I first heard it, when I was working around the United Nations, it disturbed me also because it includes the word violence. But I think it is important for us to look at violence in our world and commit to moving past that so that we can begin to live into our visions, as Reverend Ivy was encouraging us to do, of what a world at peace would look like, and what Tatiana showed us in her video as well. So are we ready to move on to a whole other part of the world?
Yes, I think we are. Thank you, everybody, for your comments. They're beautiful, and we love all of you. And we've got a very, very special sister that we all love very much coming up next. And I will let Rev Deb introduce her.
So I first met my beautiful, beloved soul daughter, Kristin Hoffmann, on the prayer field at the Fuji Sanctuary in Japan in 2015 at the launch of the Fuji Declaration, which declared our divine nature. And we both had the opportunity to be there together again in September on a beautiful journey organized by Unity Earth and Ben Bowler. And on that field, we said prayers for every country in the world, which is what the members of that organization, Byakko Shinko Kai, have been doing every month for, 70 years or something like that. But before the prayers, our group of 50 international artists had an opportunity to perform. And our dear Kristin blew us away with what she organized, which was, in my heart, the highlight of that day. And I'm going to let her tell you about it. Kristin Hoffmann, love you.
Love you so much. And wow, I'm in an altered state right now. I feel so blessed. Thank you. Thank you to each and every soul who has been just painting this space with so much love tonight. I'm really feeling it. Yes, Deborah, it was one of the most treasured days. Both days at Mount Fuji were treasured days. The first time getting to meet you and love you in this life. And then going back to this truly sacred vessel, this container, Mount Fuji Sanctuary, where they hold the Symphony of Peace prayers for many years now. It is cultivated with the highest vibration of peace you could possibly imagine. You feel it in every cell of your being there. And I think partially because I had been there in 2015 and felt that encoding, knowing that I was going back in September, I started really being in the question of what wants to come through. And rather than playing songs, about a week before I was leaving, I was in listening about it, and I got a very deep guidance. I heard almost an audible voice. It was so clear that when you were at Mount Fuji, create a bed of sound. So go into this practice that I call solom, light weaving with the vibration of the universe. Create a bed of sound and invite spiritual leaders who will be with us traveling as a group. Invite these different leaders from around the world to pray in symphony, to weave and pray with the music in each being's language of origin. And I heard this message and I thought, whoa, and I wrote it all down, and it evolved over the week. I was texting it to Ben, and I was thinking in my heart, am I really going to do this? Am I really going to do this? It felt like in some ways a lot of pressure to bring this through live, not have any rehearsals. And then even up until just even before it happened, even a couple hours, I found myself thinking, oh, am I really going to do this? And there was just this leap of faith. And, I want to just thank beloved Pato Banton, who really got the vision too. And he held it, like he came up with a perfect way so that each leader who was praying, the next one would just gently tap on the back of the one currently praying so that no one prayed too long. And they would go, you'll see, we're about to watch a video of it. And it was a practice. It was truly a practice of presencing peace, presencing love, all of us trusting in divine connection, the collective, our highest vibration of love together, prayers of may peace prevail on earth for our planetary family. It all came through. I felt so grateful. And we're about to share it for you. I've named this piece The Prayer from Mount Fuji. And it's about 11 minutes long. You're going to be able to go into a deep space with it, I hope. And you'll see as each person prays, it shares who they are and where they're from. So, and one thing that we did at the end, it was Jason Kelly, Aboriginal Australian Jason Kelly had this idea that at the very end, that everyone pray simultaneously as this pinnacle moment of the piece in their language of origin. So after everyone had prayed individually and they formed the semicircle and I was still weaving the music, everyone's voice just raised up in simultaneous prayer. One other little short thing that happened that was a miracle to me. It was such a hot day, boiling hot. So hot that, and there were about 1,000 people sitting under this intense heat. And Summer Joy and I beforehand, before this prayer piece happened, we started doing these movements to literally call in the clouds and tame the heat. And we were really focusing on it for about 30 minutes. And all of a sudden we started feeling the clouds come in. And I kept doing it backstage before we were going on. And amazingly enough, it was like a miracle. As I stepped on stage and I looked out, the clouds came in and they covered. And so everyone who was praying was able to pray in the comfort of their physical vessel. And these birds were just flying over. And I don't think you can really hear it necessarily in the sound, but just know there were birds everywhere circling and calling out simultaneously. So just to give you a little bit, we're lucky to have this video from the one videographer who was filming. He didn't know that his sound was going to be used, but we did our very best to salvage the video and the sound and really create this experience and bring it to you. Okay.
You are a weaver of magic, my dear.
Oh, well, it's an honor and a joy. And when we find ourselves in places and spaces like this, miracles can happen when we listen.
Last one, okay? We'll go for a walk.
Dancing, glistening joy is harmonizing all of the world. Can you see it? Can you feel it? Listen in your whole body.
Asokwe, ene odo, ene bakuye, kagana dada nina.
Sun-like grace, सूरज जैसी शफकत, river-like generosity, दरिया जैसी सखावत, और ज़मीन जैसी खातिर तवाज़ो, earth-like hospitality, to be close to the Creator by serving the creation.
ሰላም ፍቅር ፍትህና እርቅ በምድር ይስፈን። ሰላም በምድራችን ይስፈን።
Chakrilaka Mamurai, Chakrilaka Manapilegi, Julium, Legacy, Wani, Ola, Dangi Tirili. Yate, Yindene, Yate, Zil, Fuchis. Biyashe, 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 nishli, nishli, hago. Sheyashe, 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 nishli, nishli, hago. Biyashe, 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 nishli, nishli, hago.
Dewa Sangha Yoga แต่เทพดาวตอนฮักษาเขตดาวเมืองแจแปนฟุจิทรงฤทธิ์ที่เลิศแล้วตนองค์แผ่วหรือจะขอพรเนื้อปัลลามีสันติภาพทักลาบทั่วโลกาเดเตอ
Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. May peace prevail on earth.
May peace prevail on earth. कदूस खुदावन हम शुक्रगुजार हैं इस वक्त के लिए कि आज हम जापान में सब ऐसे लोगों के साथ मौजूद हैं जो अमन, मोहब्बत और प्यार का रास्ता दिखाते हैं। इन सब को अपनी बना में रख और हमें इस काबिल बना कि हम अमन को फैलाने के लिए बेहतरीन किरदार अदा कर सकें। आमीन।
Thank you.
Let's take a breath together. And exhale. Let's do that one more time. Breathing in. And exhale.
Kristin, I've of course seen you so many times online play and sing, but towards the beginning, when the cameraman was close up on you, the look on your face, the emotions that I saw, I don't think I've ever seen before. And I'm wondering if you could just share what was going on for you in that moment.
I will say, the minute I began and entered that piece, there was such, I saw one message in the chat just about how hands were tingling, and I was feeling literally the importance of what was coming through as a collective in every cell of my being. And it was almost as time slowed down and expanded, there was something so visceral about every single moment. And as the prayers were being prayed, it was as if I was part of it and yet also zoomed out and witnessing the whole thing. And everyone looking out, I was looking out at this audience of I don't even want to call them audience. Audience feels like a separation. I was looking out at all of these beings who were participating in the co-creation of this piece together. And the profound energy that was known, that's the look that you had that you saw on my face. There was, I would say that moment was one of the most important of this life for me. I felt that part of what I came to do was that experience, was to hold that with everyone. And for me, something so important. I both took part in and witnessed. It was like a full-bodied, full circle experience. And I really feel like we sent some profound ripples out into the cosmos that day. And now just to have this piece be in tangible form that we can share it feels like a blessing as well. And we'll put a link in the chat so that you can find it on YouTube and share it with those in your life who you think would, and share it with yourself again. Tune in again. And these prayers are very powerful. How many times in life do we have this many beautiful, cultivated, high energy, spiritual leaders coming together at once to share so intentionally in that way from around the world? So thank you.
Rev Deb, you're muted.
I'm in a trance. It's not only the experience that you felt, but that we were able to bear witness to that. I'm so thrilled that that was captured on video, so that not only those of us who were on the prayer field that day could feel that vibration, but now everybody in this Zoom room, everybody on Facebook watching with us, that we witnessed this together was yet another level of revelation.
And you know what's funny? It was so powerful for me in the real time that when Ben said he found that there was a video in existence, he sent it to me and it took me a couple days. I was scared to watch it because it was so powerful that I was hesitating. Like, do I want to?
Would it have the power of the moment?
I said,
and it did.
Yeah.
Just extraordinary.
It is. Um, Gilrod, I love him. He was on the old Saturday Night Live show, and there was a unique, almost harmony.
Yes.
Yeah. It was like, what a unique harmony between his extraordinary voice and singing and what you were singing. I got during that part.
Yeah, and for those of you who don't know Gilran Sharma, his whole life mission and his devotion has been to create spaces where Israelis and Palestinians weave music together. And he is so devoted to this presence of peace through music. And so especially then feeling his voice, I could feel a waver in his voice. Like I just could tell he was singing for everyone, for true peace. And it was a powerful moment.
And let's take a moment to appreciate the ceasefire in Gaza. It's fragile right now, but it's the first glimpse of hope for peace there. So I know that's in everybody's heart.
Maximum grace for Gaza. There are, I think, 40 comments that have come into the chat. So I'm
Good
not
luck with that, Scott.
I'm not going to read any because then somebody will feel left out. But I will save the chat box. I'll send it to you, of course, Kristin and Rev Deb. But if anybody wants a copy of the chat box, go ahead and save it or ask me for it. I do want to point out something very special is happening tomorrow afternoon.
Oh.
And it's something that happens once a month. And on the Sunday morning that I wake up, when it's going to happen, I go, it's Kristin Hoffmann Soul Sonic Family Day. Once a month, she has her Soul Sonic family come together. And she'll usually do a couple of songs, and then there'll be a theme, there'll be a topic, and we'll talk. And of course, many of the people that are in this Zoom room are part of her Sonic Soul family. But if any of you are not, now is the perfect time to join, because tomorrow is her once a month day. So go to KristinHoffmann.com. Remember, there are two N's at the end of her name, KristinHoffmann.com, two N's. And then when you pull it up, go to where it says payment and membership in the upper right-hand corner. And then go to where it says become a member. And you can become a member of her Sonic Soul family, which is one of the great families, one of the great tribes within the tribes, out there. And you can join for as little as $11 a month. And it's the best investment. Plus, we do need to support our musical artists. They're not making money from CDs anymore. It's very difficult for artists to support themselves, and we want to support her. So become a member so she knows she's got a monthly income from her family. And of course, you can also come in at $33 or $77 and do it right now, tonight, so that I want to see some of you, some new ones, tomorrow afternoon at 3:00 Pacific time, 6:00 Eastern, for Kristin's Sonic Soul family. And Kristin, is there anything you'd like to share?
Thank you, Scott. Well, tomorrow's going to be a very special one. I'm going to be premiering a brand new piece live for the first time ever, which just released the other day, called Maravati. And it came through a vision of a great seer. I would call her a visionary leader named Addie Lambourne. And she contacted me a few months ago and said, ever since I was a child in the other realms, I have known, how does she say it? The highest divine origin, Mother Earth, the divine origin of Mother Earth. I've known her as Maravati. And I had a vision that you are meant to bring through this anthem of her encoding at this time. And I said, wow, oh my goodness. And she explained the whole vision. And I went to work in my studio and just became a receptive vessel for this piece to birth through. And I have to say, it's been one of the great experiences of definitely my last few years. And this piece has been born. I'll put a link to it in the chat. I just put it on my Bandcamp the other day, and tomorrow will be the first time I sing it live. And we're going to be sharing all about reconnecting to Mother Earth, which I think is so important right now, to that divine origin energy that connects us all.
And I have heard this piece, and it's gorgeous.
Oh, good. I'm glad you've heard it. It has like an encoding of an Ave Maria or there's something very, well, I'm not going to tell you what you have your own experience. Have your own experience. I'll put it in the chat.
Kristin, thank you so much. Thanks for joining us tonight. We love you so much. And
love you.
And seeing you tomorrow
Soul Mama Deb, I love you so much. And I'll see you tomorrow, Scott. I mean, I'll be here. I'll see you now, but I'll see you tomorrow too. Love you all.
You know, our next guest, I just want to mention briefly, and then Rev Deb will do the full introduction, but she was also in Japan.
Well, that's what I'm going to talk about.
You're going to talk about her experience.
Yeah. Well, not her experience. I'll let her say whatever she wants to about that. But this is just such an amazing program. And Scott, you just did an awesome job putting this together and inviting our evolutionary leaders. And it's been extraordinary. I mean, talk about raising the frequency. It's like each guest brings it higher and higher. So another guest who was with us on the prayer field in Japan in that hot sun, where she was totally illuminated by this hot sun, was our beloved Dr. Marty K. Casey. I know a lot of you are familiar with her and her mission. She's a global peace advocate. She's a singer and an actress and a writer and a producer and a director. And she combines her passion for the arts with her compassion for her community in such extraordinary ways. She asserts that hurt people, and healed people, heal people. And she has made this a reality with her Ungun Institute, where she teaches people how to be those healed people who can make a difference in the world. She's a powerful speaker, and she is doing the work on the ground to heal the violence in people's hearts. And Marty was also with us on the prayer field in Japan, the one and only Dr. Marty K. Casey.
Oh, my goodness. Wow. Thank you so much, Rev Deb. Every time I hear you introduce me, I feel like we're just getting closer and closer and closer. I love you from my heart for so many reasons. Let me just say this. I'm going to really kind of just keep it where we are right now in this space. Scott, what you have created here is epic and priceless. I've been on a roller coaster ride here today, just being in the room emotionally. And just like any roller coaster ride, the goal is to have fun. You get on that ride because you enjoy it, you have fun, but it's some ups and downs, and emotionally has been for me because I needed that clearing so bad, Dr. Ivy. And Kristin, you just coming in and reminding and replaying that video really mentally took me back to that very place that I was the very next day. And I had not even announced that I was coming because I wasn't sure if I could make it. But what was going on in my mind from what, Rev Deb just mentioned that, I stand by hurt people, healed people, heal people. And there was just no way, and I know that trauma is transferable and so is healing. So I did not want to leave the group visually in the trauma of what they witnessed the day before, and you all not see me in my healing. I wanted to make sure that just my presence being there, showing up, even if I couldn't participate, that just the presence alone would still help to elevate the presentation as we had so prayed about. And if that what you just shown was not proof, because I just don't know, with the way that we are so connected in the heart, if things would have turned out the way that they did if I was not there. Ben said all he kept thinking about is, I need to leave and go and check on Marty. And I'm so glad that I was able to show up so he didn't have to leave. And it's just so divine. It was
I
everything.
remember when you came, when they brought you, and you looked so gorgeous too. You were like, he was like, I'm here, and I'm
You were the medicine that I needed. You was the medicine that I needed.
Yeah.
And
We were
it
so happy that you were with us. Back
Yes,
with
yes.
us.
Oh my gosh, oh my gosh. And that takes me back to Rev Deb, because had she not been with me the day before and made that call to say, against, what others may have been thinking or saying, she says, no, 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 no. We have to get her to the hospital. And I literally could not open my eyes. I couldn't open my eyes, and I could barely speak. And only until they was able to get an IV going in me did I receive, my body receive what it needed to replenish me and to come back to life, if you will. And was low zero on vitamin D, just all kinds of things. And so, this just kind of brings me into the segue of what I come to talk about. But wow, just thank each of you. I thank each of you all for that medicine today. You all have truly, truly helped to elevate and heal my mind, body, and spirit tonight. So I'm going to move right on into what I come to talk about. So thank you, everyone. When we talk about that from the sake of our health and our wellness, we speak these words often, but really, what are we saying? And tonight we're talking about nonviolence. And then I was just on with Rev Deb a few days ago with Kurt Johnson, and I said, you know what? I think we need to speak about nonviolence in a different way. How about nonviolence is the new wealth? Nonviolence is the new wealth. And let me tell you what I'm thinking about with that, in case some of that may gone over somebody's head. We spend so much time trying to obtain power and money, and that is what causes the war. But if you really see nonviolence as being the wealth, it really helps you to visualize that the wealthiest people in this world will be those who add to life and not take a life away. How about we start adding to the life of people in a positive way by just taking good care of them, like Rev Deb did for me when I was in need of something physically. We have to start pouring into and investing into each other in that way. And so when I think about our great leader, that we will never see another leader like him again, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. We will never in our lifetime, and probably our children's lifetime, see a leader like Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. So the only thing that we could really borrow right now from who he was is thinking about all of the attributes that made him a great leader. And our greatest hope right now is to pray that the leaders of the world today will try to at least stand in one or two or three of those attributes, because what he possessed was priceless. It was timely. He actually was before his time. And a lot of times when we see individuals and their gifting that's before their times, it brings fear to those who can't understand what it is they're witnessing. And where there's fear, it begets violence. So it's now that we need to try to be open to receive those that are different, very well may be onto something that right now in our minds, we can't understand. So I want to give you those 10 attributes that I pulled from Dr. King. But I first want to give a quote of his. Darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. So on Monday, May 20th, where some of us may be visualizing darkness, and some of us may be visualizing light, it's important for us to remember those words of Dr. King. Darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Be a light on Monday. Be a light. No matter where you stand, what you believe in, who you voted for, we are all living next door to each other in this place called world. Be a light. Number one, Dr. King had a strong belief in humanity. His core beliefs were grown in his values as a preacher of the gospel. He chose humanity over self. Huh. That's huge. That's huge. I want you to start thinking about some of the leaders, not just the ones not just the one that's coming in on Monday. I'm talking about all of our leaders, all of Congress, all of the Senate. I'm talking about your leaders in your community, those that you vote for locally. I want you to think of every last one of them. Do they hold these attributes? Number two, empathy. He heard and saw people. I think someone mentioned that earlier today when individuals are seeing the power of what they will have when they are just seen and they're heard. Even if they're not felt or understood, to see someone is so important. You know, I'm in spaces a lot and I hear people say, "Oh, I don't even see black or white." And that disturbs me, disturbs my spirit, because if you don't see black, then you don't see me. I want you to see me. And it's okay that you see that I'm different. But it's not so much what you see as much as it is how you treat me, because that's what I'll remember. See, in that empathy, when he saw people, even those he didn't agree with, he respected their need to express their views. Number three, he was a visionary. He could see the future even in the dark places of reality. He knew it would be different living in that promised land that he saw before it even existed. Remember, I said he was before his time. He saw a promised land. And he told us about that promised land. And he said, even if he didn't get there with us, he told us that it existed. This is why some parts of society today, they fight so hard to take us back. He could foresee the future and he led us to that place. We live in that promised land right now today. Number four, excellent communication skills. OMG. Dr. King had the most excellent communication skills I've ever heard coming from a man. I loved him so much, his voice. Oh, Dr. King found common ground in his firm beliefs in racial equality, civil rights, and justice for all of humanity. Others that shared those core beliefs were willing to listen. How many of our leaders are actually listening versus just talking? How many are listening? Willing to listen and follow and support. That's who Dr. King was. Today, we are still divided at those core issues. So when I say it's a core issue, that's the first thing we have to do sometimes is just listen. Number 5, he was emotionally stable. Sit with that for a second. A leader has to be emotionally stable. If we have any leader that we see is not in control of their emotions, it is our responsibility as each other's neighbors to come together to do what is needed to keep us all safe. He lived by a nonviolence approach. He knew violence would lead to and attract more violence. If you want to know how wars start, is because it's an unstable leader who calls that war. We cannot take our eyes and our minds and our power and ability to speak up off of our leaders. Number 6, Dr. King was inclusive of all people. Dr. King was an advocate for human rights. Throughout his work, he became aware of the systemic barriers that kept us divided, like racial segregation. He pushed for social inclusion always while maintaining integrity for social change. The work that we do, that's what we're doing. We do this work for social change. Dr. King set it up where we could come into this Zoom room, Scott, to do this work. If it was not for what Dr. King envisioned back then and stood for and fought for and preached about and talked about and marched for, we wouldn't be here tonight. Number 7, he was a powerful motivational speaker. Dr. King's messages, quotes, and speeches were always consistent to his beliefs. Remember, I told you he was a gospel preacher. So it started with what was in his heart, his belief system. The heart tells the mind what to think, and then the mind tells the body what to do. You have to look at a leader as to what they're holding in their heart, how they feel. What they believe in is what sends messages to the mind to begin to recall and think and do those things of violence or not. Before it becomes a decision, it starts with what they feel. Feel, think, do. Before they pick up a bomb, before they pick up a gun, it's in the feeling first. 8, conflict resolution creator. That's who he was. As a civil rights activist, Dr. King believed that when you are in conflict with your enemies, love and kindness is the best way to convert them. Hurt people, healed people, heal people. People that love people, love people. People of kindness are kind to people. People that give and get, they will continue to give to others. What kind of leaders are we? Who are we today? Number 9, he was a team player and a delegator of tasks. Who is your Ralph Abernathy? Who is your best friend? Because that was Dr. King's best friend. Every great leader should have a close friend and a mentor and an advisor. We can't do this work alone. We need a network of community partners to help push our mission forward. Never underestimate the power of numbers. When you get invited into this Zoom room, please don't come into this room just thinking you're just showing up because this is where you come every week. I want you to come with intention. I want you to come with your power in your hand. I want you to come and be willing to add to the work that's being done. You put your piece in, I put my piece in, Scott put his piece in, and when it's all said and done, we got a good old pot of gumbo. That's the work that we're creating. It takes a team. I don't want anybody's gumbo with just one shrimp in it. I'm gonna tell you that right now. I like gumbo with everything in it. Make it junky for me. Bring all of the ingredients into the pot. 10, last but not least, this is the part that I love the most, because this is the part that I had to learn as a leader. I had to become like Dr. King, and he truly was a strategic thinker. Sometimes as an artist, we kind of just get into we just create, and we don't necessarily need an invitation. We just feel something and then we go with it. We just hit it like that, man. That's what we do as artists. But when I started thinking about leadership, I had to realize that I call myself an activist. And so my art is out there. My art is first as the actress part of it. But the activist part of it, I have to be a strategic thinker. I can't just do something. Why? Because it's not going to just affect me. I have people following me because they believe in where I'm taking them. So I must know where I'm taking them. I must know where I'm going. I must take the time out to play a game of chess and not a game of checkers. See, in chess, you have to, before you make this move, you got to know what your next 2, 3 moves will be so you don't lose the game. We need to be better strategic thinkers. Dr. King, being a strategic thinker, helped him to organize the March on Washington, which galvanized more than 200,000 witnessing his iconic I Have a Dream speech. Can you imagine that when he was sitting down in his office, writing with his pen to paper, alone, probably by himself, as the thoughts began to pour out, he had no clue he was writing for 200,000 people plus to witness his words. Words are powerful. We're still quoting parts of Dr. King, I Have a Dream speech today. Let's watch our words. Let's be good listeners. Let's see people. But most of all, let's pledge the pledge of nonviolence. And so I am going to ask you right now to say this with me. You just can stay on mute, because when we all try to say something on Zoom together, it sounds like we're Charlie Brown's school teacher. Wah, 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 wah. So I want you to just stay on mute and say this. And this is our pledge. I just did this pledge the other day as I was teaching a workshop with some children in school. And to actually see them say these words, they felt something different than they've ever felt before. And this is a simple pledge. But sometimes when we say something out loud, it allows us to hear what it is we really need to think so we can do and show up that way. So this nonviolence pledge is, I pledge, I'm watching your lips, I pledge to not commit a violent act to self, my community, or others. I will intentionally live in the spirit of love. Thank you so much. I pray that on Monday, as we celebrate Dr. King's birthday, I pray that we just continue to be intentionally living in the spirit of love, because that's who he was for us. His life was taken, but he was okay with that because he was intentionally moving in the spirit of love.
And we will do that because we just pledged.
We did. We did.
Thank you so much, Dr. Marty.
Thank you.
I wrote it down for those of us in the Zoom room, but I want to read it for anybody watching on Facebook who wanted to write it down again. I pledge to not commit a violent act to myself, to my community, or to others. I will intentionally live in the spirit of love. And thank you, Dr. Marty, for doing that. And Dr. Marty, tell us a little bit, just like people get confused by nonviolence, right? It can be a little confusing also, ungun. What does it mean to ungun? And we're looking at Marty's website, which is unguninstitute.com.
You know, I'm gonna make it very simple, because really something that Dr. Ivy spoke about today, I think will really help you to understand that more. When she spoke about grieving and mourning, one being internal and one being external. Sometimes those two things can be in conflict. And when that's in conflict, it's important to come through and ungun the emotions that are there, so that when that message moves from the heart to the mind, it becomes a positive message. And the brain is not recalling all of those past experiences of when you've been hurt, or when you've been disrespected, or when you're in fear or anxiousness. It disrupts that, and it changes in the trajectory of what is moving from the heart to the mind. Another thing that she spoke about, that with the morning, it says joy cometh in the morning. And a lot of times people think that that's morning as if the clock is turning. That's not the morning that is speaking of. It's talking about the morning of the hurt and the pain. The joy comes in the morning. So you have to allow your mind, body, and spirit to naturally process what it is that you feel. So we don't ungun it at the feeling. We ungun it between the feeling and the thought. That's ungunning. Because if I can ungun you emotionally between the two of that being transferred, it'll keep you from gunning up, putting the handgun in your hand. Too many people are gunning up, and I want to teach you how to ungun.
Wow. Thank you, Marty. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I love it very much. And everybody, again, go to Marty's Ungun Institute. And you know, Marty is a wonderful, amazing coach. I've had the pleasure of working with her recently, watching her in action. So if you are going through a challenging time, or you're needing support with a family member or a community that you're working with, Marty is a good person to call upon, and let her come in and work her magic with you.
I want to share this real quick, Scott. Of course, we won't say what we was doing or in that sense, but I do want to say this. Had you and I not come together to work with that individual and ungun them in the emotions that they were feeling, the very next day, remember, they've gone to the hospital.
Yeah.
And when we first started working with them, I asked where the pain was, and on a scale of 1 to 10, where it was at a 10. That was the most excruciating pain that they were feeling at that time. After ungunning them, we were able to get them down to about a 6 or a 7. The very next morning, they went to the hospital, and the heart was fine. The heart was fine, but the blood pressure was not. See, that pressure still moved, right? But we were able to change and protect the heart of man. And they didn't have a stroke or a heart attack. Had we not done the work, I believe that would have turned out a whole lot different. And Scott, you was there. I'm not making anything up. You was truly a witness to the whole, presentation of it. So it really does work, and it is life-changing. And if I didn't practice those same tools and techniques, I had to practice that for myself when my anxiety was high, when my fear was high in Japan. And like Kristin said, the very next day I showed up and I looked like I had not even been through anything, because ungunning really does work. And so those tools and techniques have to be practiced. It becomes a way of life, not just something that you say or you do, but you truly believe it and you live it. So thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Marty. Thank you so much. Love you. And I know we'll be seeing a lot more of you in Ungunning and in Global Peace Tribe and all of the different events where we are connected. And welcome to the Evolutionary Leaders Circle. She's also a new member of the Evolutionary Leaders Circle. So it's really exciting about that. So thank you. You know, I want to just remind those of you who are watching on Facebook and YouTube, thank you for watching. And I see I've been chatting actually with some of you. And please join us. Please join the Global Peace Tribe. It's a great time to join. We just started a new season. And I've been doing this for almost 5 years. And I got to say, the shows this year so far have been off the chart. It's just, the vibration has really risen to a whole new level. It's like show after show so far. This month of January has been like, wow. So please come and join us. And it's really easy to do that. Just go to globalpeacetribe.com, globalpeacetribe.com. You can learn all about us. You can see all about our upcoming shows, what we're doing, and then click register for the new season. That takes you to our registration page. And there's several different levels that you can come in at. Even students and seniors, and you'll get the Zoom room links to all of our shows for the next 3 months. We do shows every Wednesday and Saturday night, and then special shows, like we have a Sacred Sunday show coming up the first Sunday of February. So come and join us, please. You know, we've celebrated a new member in Tatiana of the Evolutionary Leaders Circle, and a new member, Marty K. And another most worthwhile new member is our beloved house musical artist, my co-pilot, Mr. Omar Shar. And let's get over to Omar Shar for a song to just integrate everything we've experienced so far.
Sometimes in our lives, we all have pain, we all have sorrow. But if we are wise, we know that there's always tomorrow. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. Please swallow your pride if you have things you need to borrow, for no one can fill those of your needs that you don't let show. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. So just call on me, brother, when you need a hand. We all need somebody to lean on. I just might have a problem that you'd understand. We all need somebody to lean on. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. So if there is a load you have to bear that you can't carry, I'm right up the road. I'll share your load if you just call me. Lean on me brother when you need a hand. We all need somebody to lean on. I just might have a problem that you'd understand. We all need somebody to lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. So call me, call me, call me.
Oh, what a perfect song, Obashar. You nailed it. Absolutely nailed it. And I got to let people know 60 seconds before he did the song, I realized after Marty, we need music. We need a song. And he wasn't on the agenda until later. And I said, can you do a song for us, bro? And Omashar leaned in. I leaned on him and he came through.
And it happened to be some words that I knew, Scott, so that helped me to come back up again. So, Omashar, you are the best, brother. You know I love you with my whole heart. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Omashar. Thank you so much.
Well, he always comes through.
He does. He does. He is the one we can lean on. Absolutely.
He's the true dude. I enjoyed the lip syncing. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Omashar. You're a treasure.
It also helps that he's got his older brother looking over his shoulder.
Yeah, and lots of light, as always. So, we have another new evolutionary leader to introduce to you next. Just think for a moment where violence has taken over our world. Where would you say? So, yes, in places of war and political discord, but perhaps even more so in today's media, right? It's everywhere. I was watching a series on Netflix the other day, and then I realized all they were doing was killing each other. I mean, it's so pervasive. But I want you to meet Peter Young, because he is a media visionary who has a dream to turn this around. He's had over 40 years experience in the entertainment industry, where he's been a leader in pioneering innovative live production and media broadcasting solutions. He's the founder and CEO of Hubcast Media International, where he has focused on building a global media ecosystem designed to empower underrepresented communities through storytelling and music and media. And by establishing media hubs in underserved regions, he's been amplifying voices of diversity and fostering collaboration and peace and sustainability, and driving impactful social change. He's thinking big, and I can't wait for him to tell us about his vision and his dream for Hubcast Media. Peter Young.
Thank you, Reverend Deborah. I've been listening here for the last 2 hours of all these amazing voices, this talent, these messages that are just so important for humanity. And right now, when Scott asked if I would speak on nonviolence and how does that relate to media, we were all at a time right now where media has been used just as much as a weapon as it has been as a peace creator. In fact, they're even taking the rules out of the game by taking out fact checking, taking out all of the other elements that in some cases we're protecting it from the worst of the worst. And because of how media has really led our world, we're in a real rough shape, feeling divided. Martin Luther King, famous for his speech, "I Had a Dream," would not have been anything if it wasn't put into a broadcast around the world. Stories about Gandhi, stories about the peace leaders, the pacifists, the people that practiced nonviolence would not even been heard outside their communities if it wasn't for media. We wouldn't have all understood what was happening in Gaza and in and all the areas around that affected if it wasn't for media. The challenge we've always been faced is that media true, or is it being used to manipulate us? So for me and my 40 years in this industry, I realized that there's some huge hurdles that we are all up against as we become more connected, because we get to a place where our own truth might not be fact and the fact might not be truth. And it gets us to a place where we all are divided, disconnected. And so for us, as we go into new leaders, I live in Canada, and we have always been very close brothers and sisters in North America here. And even that has been put into a division because of media. And that's what we have to change. So Hubcast, in its vision, in my belief, was how do we bring people together using media for good rather than media to divide. And the best way to do that is to give everyone a voice, an equal voice, a voice that is just as important out of a village in Uganda than it is in the downtown Wall Street of New York. And having those voices equally out there where everybody can have an opinion, everybody can speak as one, because truly that's the only way we all will become one, if we start thinking as one. And it starts with education and awareness. So Hubcast, huge as Reverend Deb, it's an understatement to state that this is a huge undertaking. I'm, as I say, 40 years in this industry. I shifted from owning a number of large production companies in Canada. I took a break. I was burnt out in the touring world, following, I toured with everybody from Dr. Hook to Nana Muscuri, if you can express the full gamut of the different people. But I was always amazed when people came together in a venue and celebrated music, how much power that really had to bring people. In fact, I'm a very big believer in quantum physics and string theory. And the reason why Christian's music and Tatiana's music and Omashar's, why it touches us at a cellular level is because it is the manipulation of vibrations, which is sound, and sound affects us at that cellular level. Media is the same way, because it not only brings that from an oral perspective, but it also in voice and the spoken word, as Dr. Marty said. Words are powerful. Words can be manipulated, and that is the challenge we all face. So when I launched Hubcast in 2016, I knew that it was not going to be an easy task, and it was going to take a lot of resources, because the people we're up against have billions and billions and billions of dollars. But what I felt that we had a movement that if we could organize, if we had a movement where we could bring people together, we could be equally as powerful, because it really just comes down to numbers. And if we could organize those people in such a way to speak as one, then it doesn't matter how much money is brought into the model, because the truth will be told, because the masses are all there coming as one. So what I launched on Hubcast, starting with, is designing technology that broke down the barriers of separating us from the major broadcasters, giving tools to people and artists that didn't have a voice. And Hubcast has continually building not only that, but all the different aspects that it takes to distribute content in a space that is safe, that people can trust, and lifting up the most important aspect of how media can bring us together, and that's through education influence. So the Hubcast network, which I'm proud to say is just coming online right now. If you just go hubcastnetwork.com, you'll find it, and you'll see that what we've done is we are trying to bring focus in such a way that people can discover anything that's out there for them. So it's built around because we are working from the top down and the bottom up. We realized we needed a framework. So as of right now, we are using the basics of the SDGs as global frameworks to work on together. But beyond not only the linear TV network, which we're partnering with people like LG, in 2026, you will see Hubcast on every TV set around the world on the LG TV, smart TV. This gives us abilities to grow and to create that audience the size of what we need to really bring influence. So we started in Africa. We launched a studio in Uganda. We gave about $100,000 worth of video equipment to a team of people there, and we left it for a year, and then we grew it to Rwanda. So we have a studio in Rwanda now, and we're finding that the voices in Africa specifically have so much to share, and the talent is so amazing that that they become our troops, and where they can tell their story rather than the West adapt a story. So we realize that stories have to be told by the people that have the stories, not by people who are looking at it from the outside lens back in. So for me, this is not a short-term venture. This is a long-term venture, and we're just at the beginning. 2020 is when I met this family. For all you who followed UETV and Unity Earth, and we started the first caravan of Unity, where we went across the country and covered a whole summer of events that took place, and this is where I met everybody from Marty and Deborah and Kristin, and the work we're doing is amazing. The goal is to expand on that and to make it bigger and grow it. And most importantly, do it in such a way that everybody can win, including, most importantly, the content creators. It's an expensive industry to live in. The talent that needs to be lifted up in the world doesn't get paid. They have to find ways to monetize to stay full-time. And so Hubcast has built a very big part of its platform on monetizing media in a gifting process, as well as what we call conscious advertising, where we work with family offices and NGOs that support amazing media, telling stories about what they're doing and how how we bring community together. So for us, we're just at the start, and I encourage everybody. We have some amazing shows that are showing up on the network right now. We talk about abundance. Michael Krause, who started the Awaken channel on our network, launched the course called Abundance last week, and it's a course that runs for 7 weeks, 49 days, daily practices towards creating personal abundance. We just had our first episode of the One by One episode with Michelle Pascal, a famous meditation and music artist that is playing at Carnegie Hall coming up here. So we're really excited. And as I say, there will be places, Kristin, and in fact, we are going to bring Scott's show into that community as well. we don't want everybody to we want everybody to stay with their spaces, but this will be a place where they'll be able to discover it all together. This is about discovery. So if you have projects, if you have a community, Hubcast is a place that you can build infrastructure. So what we do is everything is free to the content creators. What we do is we monetize it, and we share in whatever you create, in the resources. And but most importantly, is our goal is to build a community, a sizable community, where we can get to the millions of people to see this really important content around the world. Last thing I just wanted to show you is really cool, because I'm here in the campus facility, which you guys might have seen in the past, but we just got an update at our studios, and the whole idea is building facilities around the world. So this is our training facility. I'm gonna see if I can change my camera here, and I think it should come up. There you go. So this is our main studio facility in Vancouver. We bring people here to teach them how to create content, how to storytell, and then we send them back to their regions with equipment so they continue that story. We're going to do a lot more shows out of here in 2025. I can't wait to get Kristin over here from New York, and Tatiana, who lives here locally. We're going to be doing a lot more shows, and I think obviously Scott's got to come up from San Francisco, and we gotta start doing the Global Tribe from here. Maybe do some specials, the monthly specials coming up and all that. But this is the tools that we want. We have to play at the same caliber that the major broadcasters do, and this is the vision and goal of Hubcast. So thanks very much, Scott, for allowing me to share. And as I say, there's a lot more stories to come. This is just the beginning.
I definitely would love to. Let's really figure out how we can collaborate together. I'd love to get our previous content, because we have so many wonderful shows that I want more people to watch. Honestly, after almost every Awakening World show, I have the same pair of experiences: joy for what a beautiful show it was, and heartbreak that there aren't more people who know about this and are watching. So I'm really counting on you, Peter, to find the way for us to get this content out to more people.
The big thing is resources, and I had to say we have about $500,000 into this venture. It's not broadcasting is not a cheap venture when you're on the front end. As I say, the YouTubes, the Facebook, all these companies, you are the commodity, you are the product. And that's the thing that's really scary, is when you become the product, they're always trying to create the biggest return off their investment. And that's why the manipulation comes into play. We don't want the creator to be the product. We want the community to be abundant in how they share and how they communicate. So we're really turning the business model of media, even to the point where we will actually be paying people to consume content. So imagine watching a 1-hour educational series and having enough to go and buy a bag of rice for your family in Africa. That's the type of work that we're working on, is to create a sustainable, regenerative media ecosystem. So that's the goal. And with everybody's help and everybody's support, we're out there, and we'll keep trailblazing as long as we can.
Tatiana writes, I've been to Hubcast many times. I've been so very lucky, as it's in my back door. It's an incredible place, and she appreciates everything that you're doing. And then Kristin has something she wants to share.
Oh, well, yes, Scott wanted me to share what I wrote, but I'll just share it from my heart to yours, Peter. I was just saying, what a rare human you are. You have such a gigantic capacity. You do so much. You give so much. You're so committed to the pathway of peace. And there are very few people elevating artists and understanding the place that artists find themselves in these days. And you elevate artists around the world with so much love and make it look so graceful. I know there's so much to it. I know you just work. There are times where Peter literally goes for days straight and he barely sleeps. I don't know.
Not
I've
just me,
seen
my
Peter
team, Michael and Mark and Delan.
Totally. Your whole team.
Yes.
I don't know how you physically do it. I have seen Peter backstage where he has been up for days straight, giving his presence, his time, making sure that everything flows for everyone who is going to be offering experiences and sharing around peace and love and wisdom. And Peter, I'm just so grateful for you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
To be holding this space in media for us at this very important time in our evolution, I think is critical, and it's not easy. And I know it's in some ways sometimes probably feels like a thankless job, and just know how much love is just flooding to you, and that the world thanks you, and that we all thank you.
That's the abundance that we talk about. You know, that's a commodity right there, and that's what needs to drive the world forward. Is we get caught up in the fiat currencies of the world, and we realize that we have all the wealth in ourselves, and it's just about how we share it and how we co-create together. And that's really what the platform is designed, is to radically collaborate. In the famous words, I believe John Raymer has said many times, is we need to come together and create conscious media and create media that supports the world rather than holds them down. I just want to add one thing, a story that what launched me on this transition from being an equipment supplier and touring artist, touring sound man, is I met a gentleman by the name of Steve Roberts, and I get emotional because he was, and he is, in my mind, a trailblazer that took his whole life and put it towards music and peace. He was the founder of Project Peace on Earth and envisioned on bringing the world together through sacred music. And he was one of the few men that brought. He was the responsible for putting the peace dove into the valley in Israel, and doing peace events in Bethlehem, and originally what started me on the path is Steve was trying to do a world concert to the size of Live Aid, and he could not raise enough money because the technology was going to be too expensive for him to try and broadcast from 7 sacred sites around the world, like Machu Picchu, the pyramids. And it became so cost prohibitive, even though he had all the producers of Live Aid, he had all the biggest of the biggest team, but he just couldn't raise the money. And he spent his whole life couch surfing and evangelizing this. And in fact, there's a lot of people in this community that knew Steve, but Steve unfortunately passed away during COVID and never got to have that chance to do that global concert. So we're going to do that. And the technology is there.
I knew Steve very well down in Southern California. We did many parties and gatherings together, and was a big, beautiful. He was a big heart with legs,
with a very strong vision, and he held it, and he held it strong. And as I said, is that's the people we should celebrate, is the people that passed, the people that have been on this mission, their life work. We owe it to them. We owe it to ourselves. So again, thank you so much, and thank you for allowing me to share.
We stand on many shoulders.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Thank you.
Ivy, was there something you'd like to share?
Yes, I just wanted to tell everyone, and that's something, the experience that I had at the Hubcast Ranch.
Campus.
Well, it's a campus, but it feels like
it's a farm. It's a 10-acre property, and we have hub cows. Every year they come, and then so
it is so much love there. And I mean, it is so powerful, and I'm just so grateful that you have been able to sustain and maintain. And I want you to know that it's people like you that is going to make a difference in the world as we are moving into a whole new revelation of what it means to be on Earth. And the truth has to be told, and it will be told through people like you. And somehow we have to find a better way to support you. And I don't want to finish without acknowledging your absolutely beautiful wife, if she's still there,
Mm.
because when you go
She's
there, you
somewhere in the house here, but I'm sure she's listening.
oh, she is
I could
such a
not I could
beautiful
not do
spirit.
this without my wife, Deland. This company is actually owned by my family. I created this company for my family. My family, I created a family trust, and this is part of the Young family has a legacy in communications. My grandfather was head of Canada's version of Bell telephones, and my father was also a senior executive there. My brother ran the first fiber optics between Chicago and Boston.
Wow.
And so for me, this is the continuation of communicating and what connects us together. And I
Yeah.
couldn't do this without the support of my family, and my children and all that. So this is very much, this is not a job, this is a lifestyle.
Yeah, it's a lifestyle, a commitment. And one day, hopefully, we'll be able, I mean, all of your stories of the people who are in Africa that
Mm.
get you the stories. I remember that time when we didn't even know if the young man had lived through something that he was doing to try to get to
Mm.
you. Do you remember that?
Yeah, and unfortunately, as you build a media company, there's a lot of people that want to take you down because you're not necessarily following their narrative. Hubcast almost didn't come to be about 4 years ago when we had an executive group that wanted to take over the company because they felt we were better to put micro TV stations into war zones to push propaganda than to be a peace network, and build on, not getting to war. And luckily, I had controlling shares of the company, and we had to pull away, and it cost us a lot of money. We almost didn't survive. And there's always people out there that want to tear you down. They call it in here. I've heard the term tall posy syndrome. Once you lift up above everybody else, first thing people want to do is cut you off. So, we are constantly facing that every day where we have to be strategic how we build this. We're always, for me, this is about we've built a system that can hold 1 billion people. We've built this system on the same technology that the Meta and the YouTubes of the world exist on. So we know we can scale this. Now it's about just bringing the audience, and from that, it will perpetuate the resources it needs to survive. So we're at
Yeah.
this very critical stage, and we're very excited where we're going. But right now is the time of where everybody needs to come together and support.
Yeah, absolutely. Because we're all going to have to sign up for whatever you're going to call this network
Well, it's
outside.
Hubcast Network. If you go to hubcastnetwork.com, you can sign up. You can go on. There's hundreds of hours of content on it already. We actually, for those who might know of a platform called Portal, Portal actually became our partners. And Emilio Lopez, who's the founder of Portal, and I came together. And so if you've ever seen the platform Portal, Hubcast is Portal with a whole bunch of new tools, including linear scheduled TV, and a total of 22 channels. So this is a proven platform that we are expanding on. And as I say, we're really excited to see what's happening in 2025 because as we bring on the new projects this year.
Susan Woolridge is signing up right now.
Peter, you're really showing us what it means to be a visionary. It's not just sitting at home and thinking up good ideas. It's getting out there and swimming upstream and making.
And I
making
think
new
that's really what
things.
we need. We are great listeners, and we've become really professional consumers, but we're not very good at action. We all sit and we point and we sit and we scrutinize, but we don't get in there and get our hands dirty and do the work. And I think that's the lessons that all of us is obviously this community, is special because it shows up, it
That's right.
participates, it activates. But how do we build this on a much more scalable model where and there's so many like oceans. I was looking at a group we're working with about bringing about cleaning up garbage around the world, and they've got this amazing YouTube channel that we want to bring their content over to show it so people can get involved and get active. And it's amazing the amazing work that's happening of impact around the world that people don't even realize is happening. A lot of the stories aren't making it to the mainstream because it's not in mainstream's best interest to show you success. They make more money when it's hardship and fear. And that's the biggest problem with media is that we have to get it to where being successful and being a positive thing is more valuable to someone than it is, you know, feeling fear. And that's where we have to join. And right now in the world media landscape, it needs new platforms. And that's what's our goal of doing
Desperately.
that. So, desperately.
Because the media that we have encourages us to sit back and just receive it. There isn't any.
Well, and think of this in even developing nations. We work with Pathways to Peace, Tezekiah Gabriel and David Wicks, and this is a really amazing story. This is what came out of our group in Rwanda. They have a facility there in Guinea. It's a retreat for not a treat a home for girls that are escaping genital mutilation and human rights issues, and they've been building a school, and the school is almost built right now, and they need to tell the story, but on top of that, we determined that media could be a great tool for these girls to heal, but also tell the story of the studio as it's growing. So what we did is we in partnership with Pathways to Peace, we put an ENG camera kit, which means it's like 3 cameras and lights and all that. And we brought their technician from Guinea to Rwanda, and I went there last year, and as we were doing our training, we trained him as well. And then we sent him back with all of his equipment, and now Guinea actually has a studio that's going to be a media hub for the school that they're launching come spring. And that's an example of just growing this. And this is something that they're going to start providing media services to the local community and drive revenue into the school and support the school. So these are the things if we can teach storytelling and we can provide infrastructure. For us, I can build with the team in Africa. We can support media creation here in North America to NGOs that can't afford Western pricing. I can provide that service out of our Rwandan offices and support those people there as they build it. So right now, our facility in Rwanda, we're trying to raise $6,000 a month is the operating capital of that complete facility with teachers, trainers, the studio, everything. It's not a lot of money. And so right now we're working on raising $6,000 of support to keep that facility up and live again. And as I say, it's the Aziri's Arts and Media Hub is what we launched. If you go to YouTube, go Aziri Arts and Media Hub, you'll see it. It's amazing facility, and it's written and the partnership there with a gentleman by the name of Ezra Kazera and the story behind that was that he had started a charity for the genocide orphans that were orphaned during the genocide, and they've all grown up, and now they're all looking for career paths. So he's created this arts and media center that they all gather together daily and make amazing, amazing content.
Maybe you can put that YouTube link in the chat.
Sure,
so
I can absolutely.
Go there
I will definitely do that. And
see
as I
the
say,
results.
there's so many amazing stories that are out there that need to be told, and we need to find a place where everybody can experience it together and discover it all as one. So I just put that. It's a long. Oh, hang on, sir.
That's a big link.
That's a Google search, but I just had it up here because If you go to here's their YouTube channel. There you go. This is. I'll put this into the thing. It's a little easier, perhaps.
Thank you, Peter.
There you go.
We actually,
but this is our team
Peter, you're
in
getting
Rwanda.
so much love in the chat.
Yeah.
Everybody is behind you here, and I just want you to know how appreciated you are for these efforts, and keep us informed of what we can do to
I certainly
join
will.
Upcast and to support you along the way, because you're truly a pioneer. And
Thank you so much, Reverend Deborah. I appreciate it. And thank you, Scott. We got lots of work to do this year.
do. Peter, there's so many comments that have come in, but I am going to read one from Mark Denisovsky. Mark says, if Hubcast is swimming upstream, then we have to be the tribe that removes the dams. That way, Hubcast can make it to their destination to spawn a new information stream.
I love it.
Is that a good one?
Thank you so much. That's very nice.
Thank
I
you.
do, and I feel it, as I say, when things get tough and we get tired, that's the stuff that keeps us up till all nights of all 24 hours. Kristin, is that love. We know we are making change and we are creating impact. Everything in this network has to have resulting impact. It's what we realized. If we're going to really do something that's going to be lasting, we got to measure everything by impact, not by finances. And that's really the goal.
And Mama Ivy says the time is now, and that is the theme of this program tonight.
Thank you.
So I know we have a couple more guests still to introduce tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. And our next guest is a wonderful evolutionary leader. You've seen her on the show many times, and that is Keishi Chai. And Keishi couldn't be with us in person tonight, but she created a beautiful dance video. And it's kind of fun because it's a real collaboration. Peter was just talking about collaboration, almost our song, Lean on Someone. So this is a poem written by Charles Gibbs, another member of our Artists Catalyzing Evolution Synergy Group. The artwork is by Debbie Gibbs. The dance improvisation is Keishi, and the music is Horizon Blues by Matthias Duplessis and the Violins of the World. So let's all integrate all that we learned from Peter and the others as we watch the beautiful Keishi dance. This is going to be quite special. Those of you who are wondering, Casey performed that in New York just last month in December. So it's very, very recent. And what a beautiful collaboration. Absolutely beautiful. So
And we
sending,
have Kristin to thank for introducing us to Casey.
that's right. That's right. Yeah, it's beautiful how we all meet each other through each other. There's Kristin. And they've done several beautiful collaborations on our shows.
And so amazing to see Casey and Charles interweaving, because we've talk about the evolutionary leaders. We've been meeting for a few years now in the ACE, Artist Catalyzing Evolution Synergy Circle. And that's how Casey and Charles got to know each other. And so just to see this birthing, it really warms my heart so much. Truly beautiful.
Well,
and I see Dr. Ivy's heart. Yes. She's in our one of the founding members of our circle. It's like medicine every month. Yeah.
It really is.
I think Jasmine Bear wants to join.
Yeah, Jasmine Bear, well, it's around that time. She's going, come on, Dad. This is a long show, Dad.
My little guy is here too.
Oh, Benja too.
Thank God for our fur family. Well, we still have a wonderful new evolutionary leader who Rev Deb is going to introduce. We're going to have one more Omashar song, and we're going to close with Andrew Kane. It's a short poem that he's asked to share. So we still have a little bit left, and to introduce our next video pre-record, take it away, Rev Deb.
Okay. Well, I'm really looking forward to hearing this pre-record because this is an extraordinary woman by any standard. Her name is Iola Amali, and she is an international peace worker. And I want to read you her full bio. It's not terribly long, but I have to just say how much I hope to meet her in person one day. And I'm going to start with the end of her bio so you get an idea of where she is working in Africa. So she is the lead consultant of First Conflict Resolution Services, Inc., and founder of the Women's International League for Peace and Freedom in Ghana, and also the City of Peace Initiative in Lagos, Nigeria. So how does she get to do all of this? Well, first of all, Io is an attorney. She's a conflict transformation practitioner. She's a certified mediator and ombud. She's a peace builder, policy advocate, development practitioner, and she has experience with women, peace and security, gender, disarmament, restorative practice, human rights, and the social rights of women and girls. Her deep legal knowledge and integration of human rights to gender issues and women's empowerment within peace processes are often infused in art forms and in developing new thinking around economic and progressive social change issues for sustainable development. So she's worked with many global organizations and movements to lead advocacy and campaigns. And she's a new evolutionary leader who has jumped in with both feet. And I really am looking forward to hearing from Aya. So thank you, Scott, for doing this pre-record. Because she's in Africa, this is not a good time of day for her. So she managed to find some time with all of this amazing work to speak with you and to be with us on the Awakening World tonight.
Here we go. I'm with Io coming all the way to us from Africa. She's a resident of Ghana, but travels quite a bit. And it's wonderful to have you with us. Please share with our audience a little bit about yourself and the wonderful work you're doing in the world.
Thank you very much, Scott. I was trained as a lawyer. I worked with Shell for some time. Then I moved into private practice. I worked in some chambers too, 2 or 3 chambers, yes. Then I started off as a peace activist, conflict resolution professional, mediator, and also an activist, having started off as an activist as a teen with the Girls Guide. And I sort of grew into activism. My activist work particularly are in the areas of women's rights, social justice, and peace building. I have been involved in various initiatives and organizations that promote human rights, gender equality, and conflict resolution. I'm involved with Mediators Beyond Borders International, they are ombuds. I'm involved with the UN panel of mediators. I'm also involved seriously with WOLF, which I founded here in Accra, in Ghana. I founded WOLF, and I've been doing a whole lot of projects and programs to promote the voice of marginalized communities, challenge systemic injustices, and promote peaceful coexistence. My activism is often intertwined with my arts, poetry, using my words to inspire change and advocate for a more just and equitable society, and also particularly feminist activism. Talk about equality, talk about equity, talk about women being empowered. I don't like using the word empower, but that's the word that people tend to relate to more. I mean, women being empowered. I believe that we're all empowered. We're born empowered, you know, and we don't have to wait for anyone to hand that over to us. So that's the work in a nutshell that I do.
That's beautiful. My God, thank you so much. That's extraordinary how much you're doing. I'm wondering, is there a poem you'd be willing to read for us? One of your poems? I mean, I know this is a spontaneous request, but is that a possibility?
Yes, I can read my poem on nonviolence, a very short one, and then I would like to show you some of my work, my artwork, and what I have done as a creative person. Yeah, let me read my poem. Ripples of peace on waters calm, reflecting the beauty that disarms. The waves of violence that seek to destroy are met with the strength of a loving joy. In calmness, I find my voice. A whispered scream, a heartfelt choice to rise above the noise and pain like eagles, and find solace in the beauty that remains in tulips.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And you do have screen sharing privilege. If your artwork is online, you can take us to your website if you want to do that.
I have it. I have some here. I can show you. I can send it to you later. Yeah.
If it's easiest for our audience if I see it online.
Okay.
So if you send it to me, I can then go there.
You mean later?
Yeah, I'll do it later. Or do you have it in photos?
Yes, I have like this.
So I'm going to show the beautiful artwork when we complete the recording of this. Please share a little bit more about your work and your beliefs about equality.
Yeah, thank you, Scott. Yeah, most of our initiatives are centered around equality and equity, and that spreads across so many facets of life. You can't talk about development without women. You can't talk about environment without women, obviously. So we have equality and equity that are so important for peace and development because they promote social mobility, contribute to sustainable development. We know the SDGs. In fact, there's no way the SDGs can be achievable without gender equality. it's all tied to it. So we have that contributing to social development, sustainable development, and helping to create peaceful societies. I mean, people ask me, sometimes they say, I mean, what's the difference between gender equality and equity? I tell them gender equality is a key factor in a country's stability and security. That's why we have what you call 1325. That's the United Nations Resolution 1325 on women, peace, and security, because it's a researched fact that without gender equality, you can have peace and security. They are all intertwined. They are connected. You know, so that alone shows that gender equality can help prevent violent conflict. We have a lot of that in Africa, and reduce the likelihood of interstate conflict. You know, so, and it also offers equal opportunity to improve living conditions and strengthen social mobility across generations. What do I mean by that? It simply means that when a woman is able to work, she's educated, she's able to compete with there's gender, I mean, equality, then that competition is there. The woman can excel, she can have a paycheck, she can bring home, she can take care of her kids, she can take care of the home, she can contribute to society and development. And leaving half of your population behind, of course, it's obvious that development will be stunted. It's not going to work. So equal opportunity matters. Contribution to society is so important, because everyone can contribute to society based on their efforts and contributions, not on their status or position. A woman contributes already, even without going out to work, but she has to contribute more, because, I mean, it's unfair to relegate a woman to the house work alone. She has capacity to become a president, capacity to become anything that a man can become if she's given the same opportunity as a man is given. So we're asking for that because we want society to thrive. We want the sustainable development goal to be achieved, and resource distribution as well, because equity is also a strategic approach when you are trying to ensure that resources and opportunities are distributed fairly. That's the difference between equity and equality. Are they distributed equally? Can women equally access education? Can girls access education? That's part of the work I do. Access education for women, for young girls, so that they can be empowered. This can help compensate for an uneven distribution of resources and opportunities between different groups, between gender, the gender, you know. So, and it will certainly lead to sustainable development goals, as we said, because if we really want sustainable development goals to happen, then we have to take into cognizance gender equality and gender equity. Very important in that. Then we also work on the issue of climate change, demilitarization, Stop Killer Robots campaign, because all of these too are women issues. You find that in Africa, women go out, they spend hours, especially young girls, in the villages to fetch water, and they can't go to school as a result. When they come back, they have to go fetch firewood. That's also tied to climate. You know what it is when you fell trees and you get firewood from there. All of these are connected. So climate change and conflict are also connected, because it affects women more due to their gender inequalities and the roles that I just mentioned that they play in the society, you know. So women are often responsible for gathering food and water. So climate change can also reduce their access to these resources, you see. So then the health issues too. When you look at the health issues, climate change can also increase the risk factor of infectious diseases. We have more malaria. These days you hear about cholera, you hear about Zika virus. It can also increase the risk of stillbirth medically for women who are trying to have babies, you know. And then you have gender-based violence. We have a whole project on gender-based violence. It's a terrible thing that I've experienced it growing up as a young girl. When I was working with I don't want to mention that I worked with a big company when I finished the law school, and I had to leave, resign because of gender-based violence, because my boss was not civilized enough, doesn't have integrity. I had to leave that job because of gender-based violence, or is either I settle for it or I just leave. So it is affecting development. It's affecting women. Climate change also affects gender-based violence. It increases the risk of gender-based violence. A girl who goes out there late to fetch water could be abused, could be raped, you know, including sexual violence, including human trafficking, including child marriage, you know. So all of these are just connected. I mean, they're all connected. So climate change can lead to displacement too. We find a whole lot of women who are displaced, and men, and everybody, young people. And it can increase the risk of gender-based violence. In refugee camps, even during COVID, we discovered that the rate of rape escalated because people were locked together with their abusers. And you see how this connects. So the issues are, women are central. You know, women are the key factor if we want real development that is sustainable. Women must be factored into everything, because if you connect all the dots, they are just the main thing, the main factor that you have to, I mean, deal with. If not, every other thing suffers. So that's why we dwell more on that. Access to resources and all the issues that has to do with women, climate security, environmental activities, anything to do with women when it comes to development are part of the work we do, mainly gender-based violence, the environment. Those are the key things we do. So we don't have any tolerance for any form of violence against women, whether it environmental, during conflicts, and we use tools that I just mentioned some to you, like we're so much into United Nations Security Council resolutions, mostly 1325. We apply that even when we have elections, because we believe that political participation of women we bring about what I just said. When women are there on the table, I mean, you can't decide for someone in their absence. You know, there's a saying in Africa that you can't shave my hair when I'm not sitting.
Right.
Yeah, and you cannot, I mean, decide my future. Do you know what my needs are more than I do? So that is exactly what happens when women are left behind and they are not on the table to speak. I mean, we know where the shoe pinches because we wear the shoe. So we're supposed to be there. I mean, at the table. So for us to get there, we need education. We need equity, you know, and we need equality. So that's why these things are that way. They just connected here and there, and we have to apply this same principle to ensure that there's sanity in the society.
I am kind of blown away with just how important the work you're doing is. And I really look forward to getting to know you through the Evolutionary Leaders Circle. And this is just a little homeopathic dose of your medicine, because we've got 9 different presenters tonight, each one doing 10 minutes. So we've come to the end of our time. But I would love to sometimes we do shows where we go much more in depth, where we, have somebody on the show for 30, 45 minutes, really where we can go deeper into the work that they're doing. And I would really like to invite you to come into one of our more in-depth shows, because it's profound what you're doing. And I'd love for our audience to really learn more. But for right now, I just want to say thank you. Thank you. Thank you for dedicating your life to improving the quality of life on this planet. This is called the Awakening World, and it's people like yourself that are making a difference. I'm so grateful to you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm grateful. Thanks for having me.
Oh. Yeah. It was similar to when Dr. Ivy was talking about nonviolence is being able to eat. What stood out for me was her talking about intelligent girls who have to spend their day fetching water and firewood, right?
It's hard to believe when you're immersed in our Western civilization, that there are parts of the world that are still like that. And what it must be like for intelligent young women not to have any opportunities to develop themselves. It's extraordinary work that she's doing. The fact that she's an artist and a poet on top of being an attorney and a civil rights worker, just like makes my head explode.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. She actually, her artwork is very, very beautiful. She sent me, actually, you know what? Let me pull this up real quickly, because she did actually send some of her artwork. I just realized that, and I have it here. Let's see. It's not coming up easily, actually.
It's so important for us to get a glimpse outside of our own world. And we all have our bubbles that we live in. And that's why Peter Young's work is so important, because he wants to take media there.
Yeah.
And give us those opportunities.
Here's something, though, that she did send me, which I'm able to easily find. She is the winner of the 2024 Justo Bolica International Prize for African Literature. So again, talk about this amazing activist. She's also a writer that is
prize-winning author on top of that.
Prize-winning author, exactly.
In her spare time. Yeah, extraordinary, extraordinary. Okay, well, we've been to Africa tonight. We've been to Japan,
right,
and Canada twice.
New York for the dance that we just watched with Casey. That was New
Mexico.
York, Mexico, where you are. And we have a lot of people watching from Canada, including, of course, earlier Tatiana, and of course,
and
Kristin,
Peter.
And Peter, exactly. That's right. And Marty is representing the Midwest out there in Missouri. So
it's the Global Peace Tribe.
It is the Global Peace Tribe. It truly is. So, Rev Deb, we've got an Omashar song, a couple of announcements. Is there anything you'd like to share in conclusion on your end of things?
Well, I'd just like to go back to the theme of nonviolence. The time is now. Just a reminder that we are celebrating the birthday of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and that his campaign for nonviolence was based on Mahatma Gandhi's. These are giants in the history of the world. And too often a holiday, it becomes a Monday so that it can make a longer weekend and everybody gets a day off. And of course, we're going to be massively distracted by the inauguration and the contrast between these two worldviews. So I just think it's important. It's important right now and during this month of January, when there are so many events highlighting the work of Dr. King, that we hold nonviolence in our hearts, that we remember what it felt like to be uplifted tonight by all of these guests that we've had, starting with Tatiana's beautiful video on peace, and Omashar's music, and Kristin's extraordinary video from Japan, and the amazing sound bath we had with Dr. Ivy that raised our collective frequency, the powerful words of Dr. Marty K. Casey, and the amazing vision of Peter Young, as well as Ayole Amali from Africa. We are in a time of change, and we can be that change if we hold these things in our hearts and we focus on nonviolence, on peace and love, because we are the Global Peace Tribe. Thank you, Scott. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Rev Deb. I love you so much. Thank you. She just talked about all the events that are happening. And I'm really focusing our Global Peace Tribe announcements on events being put on by our beloved friends, our closest family, John and Summer Raymer, Pato and Antoinette. So I've put into the chat box a link where you can find this. It's on Substack. If you look up Ubuntu, you can also find it on Unity Earth. And there's some really beautiful things taking place that we all want to really participate in. So let's start with tomorrow, Sunday, is the virtual watch party. And I'm going to be there. We talked a lot about it on Wednesday night because we have Pato and Antoinette with us the whole night, or for the whole show. 10 o'clock Pacific time, 1 o'clock Eastern. Join us. It's going to be an online watch party, watching the entire film of The Spirit of Ubuntu, which is such a beautiful movie, such an incredible act of love that Pato and Antoinette have created. So 10 o'clock tomorrow morning, let's all be there. What a beautiful way for us to have a sacred Sunday together. And again, it's the Spirit of Ubuntu virtual watch party. And then on Monday is a whole series of events, the Multicultural MLK Junior Day celebration. And let's definitely make sure that we all dance together. Let's all join at 8 o'clock in the morning Pacific time, 11 o'clock Eastern. The final, Summer Joy did 81 days of dancing every day at 11 a.m. Pacific time. Well, it's all coming to a close on Monday, Martin Luther King Day, and the day of the inauguration. Let's all gather together, pray together, dance together. And again, I put that information into the chat box. Finally, just letting you know about next week on Wednesday night. We've got an evening with 3 wise women, and each one of these women is a gem. And that's what we're going to be doing on Wednesday night. So please join us on Wednesday night. We are going to go to beloved brother Omashar for our closing song, and then a little tiny aperitif of a poem with Andrew. But let's go to Omashar now.
Just when you think that all is lost and the curtain looks to fall, perhaps it's just the song of hope that calls, and you trust in life exposed. No need to sit around and mope. Where there is love, there's always hope. Trust in your life and you will see that you reflect as me. Another day is here for you to live, and I'll walk it through with you. There is no doubt your heart is pure and true. So I came to remind you. No need to sit around and mope. Where there is love, there's always hope. Trust in your life and you will see that you reflect as me. Just when you thought that all was lost, I came to remind you. No need to sit around and mope. Where there is love, there's always hope. Trust in your life and you will see that you reflect as me.
Let's all twinkle Omashar. Thank you so much, brother, for all your support. Jumping in with a great song in the middle of the show.
I know, that was a wild card, wasn't it?
It was awesome. And thank you, everybody, for dancing. It's so good to see Tiara's smile and Dora dancing and Eleanor Joy and everybody. And Lynn, you are amazing. 80 years old and you're up there dancing away. I love that. And of course, our beloved wild monk of the Mystic Monastery, Peter and his family, his wife and son.
My son. This is the famous Cedar. If anybody knows Cedar from Adil and Michael's dog, so he's definitely yes, but
part of the family.
Beautiful, nice. How lovely.
Beautiful. All right. Well, thank you, Peter, for everything you're doing. And yes, let's talk soon. All right. We have a very special little aperitif. Andrew Kane, our good friend, has a closing poem for us. Welcome back to the Global Peace Tribe, Andrew.
Thank you very much. This was an amazing evening, and I'm so honored to be here tonight with all of you. The name of this poem is called Let It Shine. Sanctified bliss of the love connection to your heart, to the universe. Don't sweat your palms. Open the domain to your rain and pour your glistening starry-edged eyes to the harvest of your destiny, where moments despair the care it takes to unfold the mold in your cue, undo the knot by the lot of your soul. Roll over your belly with sweet jelly and lessen the weight. It's not too late to bring new dimensions to your plane. Open the domain to your reign and shine your light with mighty warrior salutation. The station to your absolute power and creation lies in the harvest of your destiny. Seek the sanctified bliss of the love connection to your heart and to the universe, from the stars to the ground. Don't let your feet compete with the speed at which you run, walk, or sit. Take it slow, but don't let it show that you are taking the drift at the cliff of the horizon that causes you to move in one direction or the other with the speed at which you run, walk, or sit. Sanctified bliss of the love connection is where the resurrection of your highest elevation and peak can be risen and chosen. Choose now and forever hold your ground, for the ground you walk on is the harvest of your destiny. Open the domain to your reign and shine your light. Shine your light like never before and allow the sanctified bliss to overtake you, sweep you off your feet, off the ground to the love connection where your heart melts with all that is. Unite and sing with the universe. That bliss is where your soul cries out to be seen and recognized. At bliss is your soul's craving to unite and sing with the universe. In flight is where the height of your destiny calls to you. Feel the love connection and be at one with your brothers and sisters. Time at last to be truly in love. This is where sanctified bliss is born and raised. Find it and you shall be set free to ride the waves of your true calling and discover what awaits you next. Time will tell, take it slow, and be the mighty warrior you are by living the life you dreamed at the station of your absolute power and creation. Open the domain to your reign and shine your light and sing, everyone. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine. I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrew, for reminding us to shine our light brightly. Absolutely. And that's actually a wonderful way for us to conclude what's really been a wonderful show.
Scott?
Yes.
Pardon me, I don't see a link anywhere for the Ubuntu, the spirit of Ubuntu. I'm looking at the most like a 17 email and I just am not seeing it. Is there something you put in the chat box maybe, or?
I thought I'd put it in there. If we go to One World, we should be able to find it there.
Okay.
Spirit of Ubuntu. If you go to oneworld.earth, let's see if I can find it there.
I just put it in the chat.
Okay, you got it. Thank you, Andrew. Thank you for doing that.
Let me find that. Okay.
Okay, great. And here's also the link for the chat for the final dance. I was able to find that, the link for the final dance. So there is the link for the dance on Monday at 8 a.m. Pacific time. And thank you, Andrew, for finding the Spirit of Ubuntu. And everybody go ahead and save the chat. If you don't get it, you can send me a message and I'll send it to you. I hope to see all of you on Sunday morning. That's tomorrow. That's in less than 12 hours. So looking forward to that.
So we have the dream team up in Canada. We have Peter and Delane and Mark.
Oh my God, Mark's there too. There he is.
Oh yeah, we're all at the hub.
Where is Mark?
Yeah, Mark is the only one that's not here. So
Mark was here this morning.
That's Michael.
That's Michael and Mark. Yeah,
Michael.
beautiful. Well done, Michael.
Hey, Michael, if somebody missed the first chapter of the abundance course, if they register, is there a recording?
Everything is recorded. There's replays. There is access to all the course material, and the course material only becomes available as we go along. So the idea is really to come together on that journey and walk through it together. And some of the material today was just, I get goosebumps just thinking about it, but it was literally life-changing. It was such powerful yet simple and just completely revolutionizing insights and wisdoms that come from Sajid, and it was truly amazing.
He'll put it in the chat.
yeah, so it's awaken.global/abundance.
Right?
Is the site. You can sign up, you can get involved. It goes for 7 weeks. 49
days.
49 days of activity. And so
so there's
check it out.
in a nutshell, every Saturday at 9 a.m. Pacific time is a 90-minute live transmission, and then throughout the week is going to be exercises between 10, 15, 20 minutes to really deepen the awareness and go deeper into abundance consciousness. And I think that is one piece that we all need to come together to change our mindset. And I always go back to the Hopi prophecy where it says, banish the word struggle from your attitude and your vocabulary. Everything that we do now must be done in a sacred manner and in ceremony. And those who came before us, Cedar is barking. He's not happy. He's sitting at the dinner table, all on his own. And
I'm going to go
he's
ahead
like,
and show people that website so that Cedar can eat and we can conclude. But I registered for it and I missed it today because I had a client in crisis. So I'm glad it's recorded. Awaken.global/abundance. And it's the 7 mystical laws of abundance. Comes extremely highly recommended by Michael and Peter and family. And so I encourage everybody, you can go to the website, listen to this opening video from this beautiful man who's, I guess, your primary facilitator. And again, it's awaken.global/abundance. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, tribe. God's blessings, everybody. Have a beautiful evening. And I hope to see all of you tomorrow morning for the Spirit of Ubuntu with Pato and Antoinette. Good night.
God, it's the link is not opening. It says sign in to confirm you're not a bot, and there's no way to get past that. So I'm just letting you know. The one that Andrew sent us is not opening. You can prevent people from being frustrated and not getting in. It says buy tickets, and you click on that. Okay, now that just changed. Somehow that opened up. Okay, thank you.
Yay. Okay. Ending on a good note. See you all tomorrow morning. Good night, everybody.